everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fashion Feed podcast. This week I'm really excited to share an episode with you because I only interviewed them yesterday and now I'm putting it out already. It's a brand called Elsie Fred that is run by three incredible and really determined people who happen to be siblings. They're from Coventry and they're called Leanne, Natalie and Ryan. And they launched Elsie Fred in 2014, which has now grown into a really successful six-figure business. I met the team initially at a Gypsy Shrine event in October 2018, and I'd only got back from holiday for like maybe 2 days, and somebody pulled out of interviewing them for a panel talk, and they rang me and said, "Can you do it?" I'd never done anything like it before, and I thought, why not? Go for it. It would be good to meet them. And their story inspired absolutely everybody in the room. And from that point, when I saw how buzzing everyone was when they left that panel talk, I knew I had to have them on the podcast. They come from a humble background and told me in the interview that they've never been afraid of losing everything, so have taken some risks over time which have really paid off for them. And we go into it in much more detail in the episode. But the brand has a huge online loyal fan base of men and women who want to empower the fiercest version of themselves with their colourful, sparkly clothes. In this episode, we covered the story of how they slogged it for 10 years before they #made it, and a number of setbacks they faced and how they overcame it with determination and perseverance. How they grew a loyal fan base on Instagram by sharing content full of personality, what happens on their sourcing trips on the other side of the world, the turning point in their business of being featured on Love Island 2017, and some really thought-provoking advice at the end for anyone who wants to start a fashion brand. I've put the links in the show notes for you to keep in touch with them, and I hope you enjoy it. It was a really, really fun episode. So, welcome to the podcast. We've got Natalie, Leanne and Ryan, who are brothers and sisters. So, yeah, let's start by introducing yourself. Who's going to go first?
Hello, I'm Ryan. Do you want to do age?
Yeah, why not?
I'm 31.
Age, sex, location, ASL,
ASL. Jippy.com. Ryan, 31. I'm the younger sibling of the three. And I am in charge of all things visual on Elsie Fred. I think it's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Leanne, I'm the middle. I do marketing. I'm 34. Am I 34? I'm 33.
33
It's
days.
your
You've been away
birthday.
for 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm 33.
You've obviously
birthday.
accepted
Wait,
that you're going to be 34.
It's like 32. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
What do you want for your birthday?
I don't know. Have you got anything for last year?
Natalie?
I'm 33. I do marketing. Accidentally do HR. And hype man.
I'm Natalie, I'm the oldest at 37, and
By the way, she does not look, well, none of you do. This one really took me by surprise.
I'm 37 and a half. And my role is the production process. Oh, Leanne forgot that she's also the designer.
Oh, yeah.
So we both design.
Casual.
We design.
Just make all the clothes that you sell.
Yeah, because we never leave enough time for it, so we always have to do it at
We
2
do
in the
manic
morning in our own
design.
time, listening to like Smooth FM.
And then I take that process on through manufacturing. I also do wholesale and the accounts, so the boring bits.
Yeah, oh, that's what you get being the oldest.
Yeah.
And how many
The boring yet most important, wholesale and account.
And how many people have you got in your office? Like, whereabouts are you based?
We're based in South Bermondsey, and
As of yesterday, I think we were 10.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we were 10.
13 including Topshop.
14 because we'd opened in Leeds Topshop yesterday.
Oh, did you?
So 14 including our concessions in the UK.
Yeah. And how, like, did the name come about? How did the brand come about? Like, tell us a little bit about the story of that.
I insist. Natalie had a shop in Coventry called Glad Rags. But she used to go to Thailand to get a lot of vintage and small pieces for the shop. And then I was working in bars at the time. Natalie, helping me out at the time, said maybe we could do something together with some men's vintage shirts, because we weren't really doing. Gladback started online, didn't it? We were starting to do a few bits, and there was an option to do some men's shirts as well. So we started doing that and shooting them on some models from the bar I used to work in, and we picked together a Wix.com site and called it Elsie and Fred, because Natalie already had a small concession, I suppose you call it, in Gladrags called Elsie and Fred.
No, it's Elsie Rocks, isn't it? It was Elsie.
There's Elsie's Rocks, and then there was. Yeah.
Going back through memory lane now.
I remember she said at the same time, I still like the name Elsie and Fred, and I said, yeah, I do too. So we called it Elsie and Fred. This really, remember the scratchy font we used?
Yeah, I do.
Elsie
I like
and
that
Fred.
scratchy font. Elsie and Fred is our maternal grandparents.
Yeah.
So we started selling online an ASOS marketplace, who rejected us at the start because of our styling and photography. I remember because all the shirts were rolled up, and they said maybe you could consider rolling them down, and we were like, no, we like that. We're styling them because we like that. And yeah, we started, and then Natalie was paying my wages for a long time. A year or two.
Natalie's still paying your wages.
A year or two. To the
In
day.
these early days, even though like we were all like getting through life just fine, there was just debt galore everywhere, wasn't there? Natalie had got herself on her feet a lot earlier than Ryan and I'd moved to London with loads of debt on a dream. Ryan had racked up some. We'd had some fun at uni. We were all in a bit of a mess. Weren't doing anything degree related, but we're all fine. But we didn't realise we were just like chomping along.
Did you study fashion, any of you?
No.
What did you do?
Psychology degree.
Okay.
Criminology degree.
I did sport. Put them together, you
get a fashion brand. So you were doing those denim jackets as well, weren't you? That people probably would remember.
That was actually the first piece that took off, I think. Yeah,
With the elephants on the back.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Like tie elephant on the back.
Denim coat with a sequin tie elephant on the back that Natalie would make herself.
So what kind of happened was we started selling things under our own label in my shop, and eventually, I mean it took a while, but eventually those items started being the best sellers, and it got to a point where our label and the website that Ryan was working on independently now at this point was overtaking sales of the shop, and the shop didn't elevate at all. If anything, it was on a decline, and the website, things just got better and better. So eventually took the move to focus on the website full time.
Did that feel scary at the time?
It felt like the right time.
Well, you've been in that shop for how long?
I was still working in the shop, which covered my wages. Ryan was working full time by that point.
That
on
must
the
have been
website.
so scary for you.
I was sick of the shop. I was sick of working.
Oh,
in the
you
shop.
were getting unwell. You hated it so
I
much.
hated working in the shop stuff, but I guess it's scary to like take what was your income and then completely
Throw
have to
it in the
cover.
air.
There was three of us by that point as well. So
We'd managed to like get yourself a little flat from that shop, hadn't you? It was like stood you in good stead. It wasn't a rubbish shop, but it was a lot. And then obviously you had that little one in Leicester for a time that I used to run.
Oh, did you? Where in Leicester was it?
in Malcolm Arcade.
Ah, I
Shops
wonder
are
if I went in
painful,
there.
isn't it,
I used
the
to live in
lane?
Leicester. Yeah. Oh.
Shops are painful. They're lonely places. You have a lot of thinking time, don't you?
And I do think there's something in that, like spotting. It sounds really obvious, but it's funny how many people don't do it. Is seeing what's working and going after that and doing more of it. Like whether it's what's selling, what's working well. Like say you were good with the aesthetic, so you run with that. But sometimes people get stuck in their ways. It's like, no, we are a shop and we're going to make this work. But it's like, actually, if that's working, then going after what's working.
We've never had any money like growing up or anything. Not poor, but never had any money. So I suppose there wasn't the same fear. Like I see maybe like people that may have had like a more bougie education or bougie upbringing that might be really fearful of doing some things. But I think there's been less of fear because there was nothing to lose because we've never had anything. We're from a loving family. Like it was always our dad to go back to. There was never anything to lose. So although there's been like some scary turning points.
Like what's the worst that can happen?
We're not like losing Kensington Flats here, you know. It all goes wrong.
And then, so you all ended up down in London at this point when you moved it to the website?
No, we're still in Coventry for quite a while. We when we closed Glad Rags, Leanne and I opened a shop in Brixton.
I'd already been in London for about 6 years.
Yes,
I'd been a charity chugger. I was working in pharmaceuticals. I'd worked for a metal trading company. I'd do anything. I'm good at blagging interviews. I can just tell them I can do it. So I'd done all those things, and by the time I was at the occupational health company, I was like, oh my God, I'm miserable. Like, I don't really like this central London life. Even coming to here, I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten how people are.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, everyone's just really mean and stares down and spends a lot of money in shops and expensive lunches. I thought, I'm just really unhappy. So I started saving, and I was going to open a bar, and then obviously I can't open a bar once I had some plans. And I said to Natalie, there's like I said, do you want to open a shop? And she was like, well, I thought you'd never ask. Let's open a shop. And I was like, oh my God, let's open a shop. And then we couldn't get one for like a year and a half. We couldn't get a unit anywhere in Brixton. Brixton was going through its big change. We couldn't get anything. And everyone was just saying no's, and we just didn't know why. And it's because it was all being bought up by big companies. But then we saw a scheme called Pop Brixton, which was going to be loads of shops and storage containers. We applied, got refused. I thought, I was devastated. I thought it was the end of my life. I'm destined to just like be in the city. And then I took Natalie came to visit me, and we went down to look at where they were building Pop Brixton, and I saw the guy who was building it, a man called Philippe Castaigne or something, and I thought, let's just linger about, Natalie, let's linger about. And he was like, you applied, and then that's how it started. And then he called me later on that day and said, reapply. And we got it.
Wow.
And that was 2000 and
2000 and something.
15 or 16.
Yeah. It's almost like it was like you have had loads of setbacks, like with the ASOS marketplace and that, but then it was obviously meant to be if you just kept persevering with it, and you knew there was something in it, but you just wasn't sure what.
It's only when we started telling our story, because we remembered all the good bits, because we are positive people, that we remembered that there was like 10 years of chugging, of crying behind counters in shops, of sobbing because you're not hiding from the man who wants to pay your music license. Like, that's true, like, it's true. It was hard.
Yeah. I think people probably do see there's this whole, pardon me, the Instagram life, you know, like you guys having fun in the warehouse and on your photo shoots in Ibiza and at Glastonbury.
That one was a touch.
And I don't know, I think it's good to do things like this when, like I was asking Ryan before, do people message you saying, can you help me start a brand? Tell me how you started. And they just want the quick answer or like the quick route, but I don't know, there's no such thing as an overnight success probably, and everything takes time. And
somebody called us a big brand on Instagram the other day.
Ooh.
It's normally been, I love how small brands are doing this, and somebody said, I love how big brands are doing this. I was like, yes.
Ryan did tell us when we were talking to people, like one of the ladies who used to work with said, if I see you putting that we're a small company in email again, you're out. And it's only like, it was in jest, but he was just saying if we stop thinking small, then we stop being small. And we read a lot of those books.
Think big. So, what is it? Playing big.
All
that
of them.
One. Just rotate them between you. Well, that was going to be my next question. Was like, what was the turning point? Do you think that went from your small shop in Brixton, to kind of not where you are now, but like the next stage up?
Well, that went to shit. And I couldn't do it anymore, and we're barely like I think I worked from 11 till 1 in the morning just trying to like make a bit of wages. And Natalie was now running 2 shops, the one in Coventry and the one in Brixton, and she was doing Elsie and Fred. So Natalie was literally in a triangle. And then I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, I can't do this. And I was like, why are we like dividing our efforts when they are running a company that's named after our grandparents? So I was like, I'm going to buy in properly. So that, because obviously I was coming in like, a year and a half, 2 years late. I wanted to like, make it count. So we really slogged for a whole summer in Pop Brixton and saved quite a bit of money actually when you really, really, really want to. We sold everything. We sold the furniture by the end, we sold the floor. And I saved and then went in, and then we all got in Natalie was living in Clapham at this point. We hired a van, went to pick up all the stock from the office in Coventry, and we drove back and set up. We set up.
That's when we were officially Elsie and Fred, all 3 of us full time, but it was still really small then.
We had pasting tables for desks.
Yeah.
That was what, 2016?
It's not even that long ago.
Maybe, yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's
Love
about-
Island was 2007.
Yeah, it's
So
2016.
I remember us launching our winter collection, and we'd launched and we were getting congratulation messages from all our friends, and you've done so well, and we were on like 2 sales.
2 sales.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like, things were still very different to they are now.
But we were thrilled. It's not like we were sitting there sad.
nice
We
No,
had a
you're
bottle of
like,
champagne. We've actually got a photo of Natalie and Ryan like this, like Ryan like learning how to do an ad spend, Natalie uplisting something. It's like imagine where you are now. You like the budget you've got for ad spend now. So yeah, that was 2016, and was that same. We applied for Glastonbury that same Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And we got through. That was we applied for Glastonbury 2017. In December 2016, and we got through in January, and we're thinking, oh my god, shit's moving. And then we're like, we've outgrown this box room.
Yeah.
And Natalie went to live in Thailand for 6 months. That was it, January of 2017? Because then me and Leanne, we'd applied for this office.
It's a project, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a creative space project in Bermondsey. And then I remember us jumping up and down.
We were on a tour, and we were like, right, don't get me wrong, like, the room was what?
333 square foot.
333 square foot with no windows in the arse end of Bermondsey, and we couldn't have been
Really
more
cool though, wasn't it?
thrilled. Oh, it's amazing. It's a
Before we
great
filmed,
building. I
yeah.
recommend it to anyone who wants like a foot in the door in like creative world. It has to be more creative than business, but V22 projects do affordable spaces for you to just like have a go. Like we were still sewing and stuff at the time, so it was considered like a creative business. So yeah, that was our foot in the door.
And Natalie was in Thailand because we needed like a
Base.
closer base with our manufacturer
Yeah.
to try and get things locked down, because it was very scatty at that time,
We
wasn't
were, we were getting things manufactured in Thailand, and it just took too long.
Yeah, they live at a different pace of life out there, don't they?
Like, we're still waiting for our summer.
2017.
That's so funny.
But while I was there, we did then end up getting our China contact, and that's who we still work with now. So
Yeah.
that's good. It was worth it.
So going back to like the 2 sales, I have people as well come to me and they're like, I've launched my website and I've not sold anything and it's been open a week. And I think, no, these things take time, but also sometimes they don't want to tell anyone that it's up for sale. They almost go live and then expect everyone to come to them, but you've got to go out and like get your Del Boy hat on almost and start selling it.
It took. I think we had a good realisation that no one was searching for Elsie and Fred in Google. So I think
It's a bit of a stab
really...
to the heart, because you assume because you've spoken about it for so much, like between you, but no one else outside of this room has ever heard of
the
it.
effect of Google searches.
Yeah.
No, there was not.
So how did you get the eyeballs onto your website? Like how did you go out there and tell people?
ASOS Marketplace and WeCoco were selling through them at the time, and they definitely had larger people Googling their names. So we always had sales going through those
That
channels,
was just
didn't
a
we?
nice, steady income while we built up our own brand. But we were really lucky. Ryan can tell you more about the timing of the brand and the beginning of Instagram. And we were really lucky with our timing because we got a lot of business through that.
Yeah, definitely. I think firstly, ASOS Marketplace, we're very aware that everything we're selling to them had the option of putting our packaging in. So we always had flyers, we always had big Elsie and Fred branding in the packages that had nothing to do with elsieandfred.com. I think that helped. But Instagram, Elsie and Fred is actually my personal Instagram that I turned into Elsie and Fred. So if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can still see my old pictures. But
I like that you've not got rid of them though.
There's another random old account that he made years ago, and it's random. And Jack, my boyfriend, was like, "Oh my God, someone's called their brand Elsie and Fred." I was like, "No, that's Ryan's photography from 2015.
It's art project.
He's got in a Coventry subway."
So what did you do with the Instagram to kind of drive people to you?
It was just posting content early. We never big hashtaggers, but we just managed to ride the wave. We had a couple of brands that were doing it early, and we looked at them for inspiration, and we managed to get a loyal fan base quite early on. I think a lot of customers. I've actually searched a lot of our customers that used to follow us, and some of them aren't. You grow different ways, don't you? But a lot of them still are, and I think a lot of loyal customers early from Instagram helped us in a big way. But
I think you put a lot of your personality into your Instagram. Like, I always enjoy looking at it, or like if I'm doing my makeup, I'll like set it up and it'll make me laugh. Or...
You can definitely tell our moods from, well, my personal mood.
If you're going to move, there's no Instagram.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I've never noticed anything.
You can always tell how good the office is from if there's a behind the scenes Friday.
Yeah. Shoving cameras into people's faces.
Yeah, we definitely have the option of, because we are sisters and we are the sisters, we are sister and brothers.
Sisters
You are
are
sisters.
doing it.
But because we are the directors, I think we get the option to be a bit informal, and that helps because a lot of other directors couldn't do that. You don't have the
Well, they're probably not the directors, the people managing the Instagram. So then they're like,
Definitely
have to get something
not,
approved.
So they can't put enough personality into it. When we
Yeah.
can just put everything we feel in. You know, for Boris, we can put that on our Instagram
Yeah.
if we want to.
We can say what we like as long as we're not upsetting anyone. And also, I
But
think
even if you do upset some people, maybe they're not your customer. They might follow you, but they might never buy from you anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
We said Donald Trump the other day, and somebody said, this isn't very inclusive. I said, well, if you like Donald Trump, don't.
we like
Go for it, we'll
we have
lose
lines. We have lines. I think that's a bit older than our fan base now as well. I think we have like a good idea of what's appropriate. Like we do take our responsibility on Instagram and social media really, really, really importantly. Like, you know, we're very aware of like social issues, but we're also still got opinions, and we're not. This isn't Top Shop. Do you know what I mean? We've got some stuff to say, and if we didn't say it, we wouldn't be being ourselves, and then we're just like everyone else.
I think that's amazing that you're not afraid to put your opinions out. Some people are really scared of upsetting people, and you're like, no, but those people would never buy from you, so it's fine. And like, just let them go.
I think as long as your opinion's well-rounded, then you should share it.
Yeah,
If it's
and
not,
you're
if
up
it's not,
for
leave it.
yeah, or if you're up for having a chat and like, this is my opinion, but I'm happy to listen to the other side of it. I might not agree with you, but
and it's my page.
Start your own. So yeah, one of my things I was going to ask you is like, if there is a key to your success, and whether it is your personality. And that was it, you know, like some people say, I don't want to put my face to the brand because it feels unprofessional. But then some of the biggest brands in the world, like Steve Jobs is Apple, Jeff Bezos is Amazon, like Richard Branson is Virgin. Why are all those people professional with a face to their brand? Like, why do you think people don't see that as a professional thing, to have your face to a brand? Or maybe,
I don't know why anyone would say that. I actually don't understand that.
Yeah.
I think
they want to almost be like faceless. Yeah, because it looks more professional, but then
I think the people put a lot of their own insecurities into the reasons why they do things behind brands. I think that when you're secure in what you know and what your brand is, then you can do what you want because it's authentic. A lot of people think, oh, this isn't formal, this is formal, because they're just reflecting on other people's opinions, what other people might think.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
we have
Respectability. People get carried away with respectability versus do you mean respectable as in you're a bit embarrassed, or is it unprofessional? Because they are different things.
Yeah,
being professional is talking to people professionally. Being professional is telling your manufacturer you'll do what you said you'd get done.
Yeah.
Being unprofessional isn't us. Isn't Ryan wearing a yellow velour riot girl thing on the Instagram? It's not particularly unprofessional. It's just not what it just embarrasses people. So
it's probably uncorporate. Maybe that's something.
We're definitely that and proud of it.
Yeah. Ryan's doing body shaking.
The thing again though, corporate. I don't know. I think embarrassment. People just do loads of things. People use their embarrassment as an excuse for loads of things, whether calling things corporate or being mean or telling that person, oh, you can't do that, or you can't wear that. It's actually got nothing to do with anything they're saying it is. It's just because you're a bit embarrassed or uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think that's important, yeah. And going back to the thing about having a director having to sign something off, that's the whole fun of having your own brand, is that you can do whatever the hell you like. And I like that you don't care, basically.
We're crazy the people that
and
work
you have
for
fun
us.
with it. Yeah.
And we'll make lots of mistakes on the way. Leanne will message me and say, I don't think you should have done that. I'm like, but at the same point she'll say that whatever she'll call at the end. I'm like, yeah. 2 minutes later when you've calmed down, you're like, yeah, maybe not. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Just stupid comments or replies, angry replies to customers.
Right, Ryan always says,
sorry to all those people.
Whenever we're getting het up, Ryan always says try and answer things like a comedian, which not as in it's a joke, but comedians are extremely clever and sharp, and they always have heard what someone said and they respond to you properly, like they've really heard, but I'm just saying I don't feel that way, so I'm going to give you an answer like in this way, but I have heard you, so whenever you're like really angry, think about how a comedian would cleverly answer that, I suppose.
I like
Still
that
being
tip.
kind, but yeah.
So how did you guys decide on the job roles that you do now? Did it?
I think it happened really naturally, actually. Like really naturally. We just all gravitated to the job roles that we've got.
Yeah, maybe growing up together, you probably always had these roles within your family.
Natalie's always doing all of our finances.
Are you like the advice giver in your family?
Oh God, yeah.
The advice giver?
Yeah.
Pointing to Ali.
Do you know what,
Well, if you said you're HR.
Although we're scoffing, I actually think I do give good advice.
You give a lot.
I'm a good people reader, probably hence why I have ended up being in the marketing. I watch people, I read people. I think I can see what's going on with people. I like people to be comfortable and happy, and that's me as a human. So that probably is why I ended up doing the marketing. It's a lot of chatting, it's a lot of stuff.
Energy given out.
Yeah, lots of energy giving.
Yeah, that can be quite draining as well, though.
Yeah, I'm an introvert at home. I'm very quiet at home.
Yeah. I think I learned the difference the other day between an introvert and an extrovert, because I think I always thought it was like loud and quiet, but it's more about how you get your energy, isn't it? So if you're around other people and that gives you energy, that's an extrovert. But
I'm sure school teachers is the opposite. School teachers like extroverts are really loud, and then you actually read about it, and it's not.
It's not that at all.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was only a couple of years ago I realised I was an introvert. Not like I need a label and that's who I am now. But I used to think. Even my boyfriend's like, oh, you go to work and you're like, rah, you're so happy, and you get home you're like, and it's not that I'm particularly sad. I'm just very quiet. Like
you're recharging your batteries.
I like yoga alone. I like gymming alone. I like a lot of alone time.
So do I. But I also like love other people. I think I'm quite similar. That I like reading other people and sort of interested in the way people's behaviours are going as well. I think that's probably a good thing to be up to date with as a brand, is like how people are behaving and how they get responded to online. So going back to your manufacturing, something else that I quite like about you that you put online, you take people with you on your sourcing trips online and do behind the scenes of like your button choosing and your fabrics and stuff. You always go out to meet these people, don't you, that are making your clothes?
We do.
Why is that important to you?
For many reasons. It's important to have a good relationship. It's one of the main relationships in our business. It's the main relationship outside office. It's important to make sure that everybody's getting something from our relationship. Been to the factory, been to the studio, spent a lot of time with the woman. Not only is our contact, but she also owns the factory. It's a family-run factory. It's really similar to our setup actually, which is really nice.
She was quite in an infancy of her company when she started with us.
We didn't realise. We just thought this is how it works, but it looks like actually she was a relatively new factory when we started, so we've kind of grown together. She's had to get more staff as we've had to get more staff, so that was really important. And then on the production side of things, you can't beat being there and feeling the fabrics and seeing the fabrics, and you might have designs that you completely have decided. In fact, this has happened more than once. We've done a whole collection, gone to China, saw the fabrics available and completely started again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bottle of wine, Chinese hotel room, midnight, tears, tantrums, and redesigned the whole thing.
Because you've seen nicer things from being out there, or the things that you thought were...
Well, we've usually lost, like we said, we're not trained, so we've usually lost confidence in everything we've done. We've lost confidence in ourselves. We now hate each other. We're starving because we're uncomfortable with the food. We're unnerved by the culture. There's so many things that were going on these trips that led to us going, these designs are just terrible! We'll never find another La Bamba. So many breakdowns.
As an electric scooter with 4 meters of fabric hits you in the leg.
It's true.
Yeah.
Crazy land.
Yeah, I don't think a sourcing trip's a sourcing trip unless you've seen a moped with like too much stuff on it and snapped it
going
for
the wrong
Instagram.
way down the road.
Yeah, with a baby on the back.
Guangzhou
Yeah.
is the most insane place we've ever seen. I think it's like one of the fabric capitals of the whole world.
It's just an assault on the senses, isn't it? Noise and...
So maybe tell us a little bit, for anybody that hasn't been on a sourcing trip, how maybe there isn't like a structure, but like what do you hope to achieve when you go out there?
So, I mean, we're still learning our process and what works best for us. And also, we're usually running really far behind, so we have to just make it work.
In fast forward.
Yeah. So ideally, we would do designs, do our research, have our designs, go over to China, and then spend a day or so on our own searching for fabrics, just because we like to just, on our own, have a good look around.
Yeah.
So you're literally talking like 2 miles of faux fur, 2 miles of sequin.
Yeah,
more.
like a whole Westfield just dedicated to leather.
just faux leather, a Westfield and faux leather. No one speaks a word of English, not a word, and they don't even want you there.
Google Translate and hand gestures.
Usually then go back to the hotel, we've completely decided to restart our designs with all the new fabrics we're really excited about. So we've got like massive bags of samples, and then the next day we'll go and meet with our manufacturer. And
who might I add is Ashley. She's like 4 foot. She always wears her most English clothes.
She'll have her England
Oh, that's so cute. Football kit.
And she will start marching us around, showing us new areas we didn't even know existed. And she usually will have samples from the current season that we're already selling in to show us, and
like check the production's going okay.
Yeah. And while we're there, it's much easier as well to look at things that need amending.
Yeah. And she'll help us order some food.
She will. Just if we've got any ideas, she'll help us find things, and that's it really. That's the reason we're there, is just to go through those things.
And also like keep that relationship. You obviously really value her and the impact she's had on your business, so you don't want her ever to feel like left out of your company. Or
oh, she wants to join the design team.
Does she?
Yeah, she said. What did she say last time? She's
been practicing. She's doing a course. And honestly, she's like the cutest thing in the world. Yeah, she works like a dog. Like honestly, like she was really small when we all started together, and we've all had so many teething problems from our side. Us being absolutely not unprofessional. What's the word? Not knowing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like you should see our designs. Yeah. We're talking a sketch, and her not knowing really what she's doing, and we're all like. I don't know, we've got a really special relationship now. Like she like goes to all our personal Instagrams, she knows what's going on with us all, she knows what our partners look like, so she can't wait to come. Like it's a really special relationship. So I can't imagine not going there and making that link. Hence why we're still in the same building as all our like shipping and logistics. We're not ready to not be around everything. I'm just not ready to not see my parcels go out. I'm not ready to not meet my manufacturer. I just can't imagine. That's faceless to me. That would be the faceless bit to me, not knowing everyone who helps send out Elsie Fred parcels. Yeah. It's named after our grandparents. If we don't look after this, then who are we? Like, that's not cool.
Yeah, I love that. Have a drink.
I've got sweat patch.
Oh, I've got sweat patch.
Yeah, same. I'm boiling.
I'm sorry.
I'll edit out the sweat patches.
We want this bit in, it's what they want.
For real, we're authentic. I can pick it up from here is if you do have your distribution in-house, do you find that distracting for your creative side of your business? Like when people are like, oh, this has been returned it's got a hole in it, this has got this, somebody said this. Like, do you find that's quite distracting when you're being creative?
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole office is one big distraction. But when you're in a good mood, it's fun, isn't it? You don't get as much work done as possible, but as is life.
It's the most ridiculous working environment that we've ever created, and it's just what we wanted. It won't work forever, don't get me wrong. No, sometimes we all have to have a day at home a week to just catch up.
Yeah.
But we've created like a mecca for ourselves, honestly. Like it's great. We'll have iced coffees, we'll do a dance. Yeah. Then we'll all like have a little meeting. We'll read some
it's not a dance. You have a full dance routine.
No, we don't do them every day. We have to plan
that. Daily diarising.
We've got blazing squad. That's how many people we've got in. We probably have to do blazing squad now.
Yeah.
What's quite good now, as we just built a bigger creative team, there's more of an even balance. So I'm looking forward to going forward, that hopefully it will balance out the amount of energy coming from the post team and distribution team as well as the creative team.
Yeah, I think that will make a massive difference actually. And have you struggled to be like fun and make it a fun environment and get people to take you seriously?
Yeah.
I think that is hard.
Because we're not forcing the fun, we're naturally fun. So we actually have to claw back on the fun to actually get some respect. I do. You know, 1 minute Ryan's got someone dangling upside down, next minute it's like, why have you not sent that post out right? But I feel like that's what we're trying to hire astronauts. Do you know what I mean? People that just mature enough to handle it. They haven't come to work. They've come to
send
their
them to
career.
Mars and they can speak the message of Earth. Elsie Fred. That's why she calls them astronauts.
Okay.
Yeah, we learnt that at a meeting.
Yeah.
So we hire people that like we can go out. They'll be working like the clappers now. I know they will. I know they will. Like they'll probably work more with me not there than when I'm there because I'll be asking them a quiz questions about the radio. Like they're getting more done now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be.
And how do you think your brand has like evolved, or where do you see it going from here?
It's evolved from a La Bamba shop to
what are the La
clothes.
Bambas
Just
for
a
anyone
La Bamba
that
shop.
doesn't know?
So we sold sequin sparkly shorts with tassels on, which started being handmade and then made by one small company and eventually being made by a factory because they got so popular. At the height of their success, they were on Love Island 2017, which was the real turning point in the company. They basically paid for us to move into our lovely big warehouse.
Thank you, Love Island.
And they were amazing, and we love them, and we will always love them. But it was really nice in this summer that they're no longer our bestseller, and that we've moved on to like a wider product range, and now the company isn't just known for the original sequin shorts.
Yeah.
And that was another huge blessing on our part because that was the last year before Love Island got sponsored the death out of it.
Yeah.
So we got on there literally, they wouldn't even fathom having some people wandering now to put on glitter on people's faces in there because it's like a multi-million pound
Craig David on
situation. You know what I mean? Like
Ministry of Sound.
Yeah, and like so they there's some things that you're like, oh, you look back, you're like, that was a blessing. There's no way we'd get that touch now. That was for free. I sent them in the post. Do you know what I mean? Like, just to like Gypsy Shrine, thank you, Jenna, like got us on there, and that was like a huge turning point for us. We sat there and like we're watching our online shop, and we were like, oh my god, the power of terrestrial television.
Yeah.
And so we're like, we're gonna need a bigger bulk.
Didn't they?
They've been copied a lot.
Just a few times.
Yeah, but that's also like when I was saying earlier, like what's the turning point? Sometimes it is when you start getting copied, and you're like, we've made it.
The
People are
first
copying
time
us.
we saw we've been copied, we were really sore, and now it's like we're at Glastonbury and somebody bought round a cheap wholesale catalogue for shops to like add some stock over the festival weekend, and they had our shorts in.
Someone was showing the wholesalers, fake
Our own product.
at Glastonbury. But it was nice by then, like we're just like, nice.
Yeah, but you know that you've moved on. Like you say, there's other things that have overtaken it. You're like, if you want to be shifting them, go for it.
We have every
It's
colour
over.
that we've ever produced still hanging on our office wall to remember where we've come from, because that every those sparkly pants is paid for all of our food, all our bills, it's done everything. So yeah, we're blessed with the Bambas and we're really pleased that we were able to like phase the company into a new thing before we got bored and the customer got bored.
And like staying one step ahead. So what's the step from here, would you say?
We could never possibly dive off.
World domination.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
In the festival world.
No, bigger than the festival world.
Yeah.
We've already conquered the festival world.
That was last year.
I think we did conquer the festival world. There's nowhere else for it to go.
I think
Yeah.
we're genuinely the first brand to do festival wear in the way we did.
Yeah, I agree.
And
There's lots of similar versions of your things appearing on Instagram every 5 minutes.
There are lots of similar versions. And because we have all like been to all the festivals and everything, I suppose we're dressing for the person there rather than dressing what the people should be wearing there, and I think that just translated. Like when you go and see the main act, you want to wear your Bambas. When you go in, Sunday to see the street, you want to wear your Superfly cohort. So I think we're kind of like filling those voids of like, God, what would the best thing you could wear right now? An animal print two-piece, obviously.
Two-way sequins.
Two-way sequins, obviously.
And do you think you're going to stick in like party wear? Is that kind of where you're sitting, or is it going to grow outside of that? Like, would you ever consider
we do
doing
party wear, but I'd say we do empowered power dressing. This is our version of 80s power dressing.
Because you could like go to Sainsbury's wearing it.
Yeah, we want to redefine what is casual wear, what's bold, and what's people think not scared, but we want people to wear our stuff down to the shop, not just going to Elrow, not just going to Glastonbury. We want people to just live bold and wear bold colours in a cool way.
Yeah.
Not just party.
I'd say your outfit is like your handshake of the 21st century. And I don't know why people like think it's not important, because it just is. How you dress is not if it isn't to you, but if you're trying to portray yourself in a certain way and have said that the clothes you're wearing aren't a part of that, then I don't think that's accurate, really.
Yeah.
So we want our girls to feel empowered, or boys empowered, confident, and they're going, hey, this is who I am today. Not every day, this is who I am today. And our clothes hopefully say that for them. And then it might even give your personality a little boost,
a little helping hand.
To be that fabulous person you want to be today. What would Cher do? Do you know what I mean?
Cher's our mascot.
Is she?
Yeah. There's getting dressed and then there's getting dressed.
Yeah, or Celine Dion recently. Like,
oh my gosh, she's on fire. She's living her best life. Do you know what I mean? So that's how Celine's feeling right now is how we want all of our customers to feel every day if we can.
Yeah, I met someone recently as well, and she said that she kind of struggles to express herself with words. So like that's why she's obsessed with fashion, because it's like I don't really need to say anything, like you can just see it.
I love that.
And I think that's probably what you're doing with your clothes as well.
Our company tagline is empowering the fiercest version of you, and since we like really got to the bare bones of what it is we're trying to do, and we're able to put it in that sentence, we're like, oh, that's obviously what we need to do.
And then everything relates to that, and if somebody wants to collaborate with you, like if it doesn't match that sentence, you're just like, no.
Exactly that,
yeah.
I think that's definitely a turning point of knowing who we were, to say, no, that's not us. They might have 1 million followers, but are you the same company, are you the same message as we are? No, then we don't want to work together.
Yeah, and
there's
you're not
no
doing
reflection
it for
on
the same
them,
reasons.
it's just not authentic to us.
If we don't share ideologies, then it's just not a collab that we need. And that's actually that's not a knock on anyone. We've got our own thing that we're doing, so if it's not going to work with that and that message,
you've got the same message and same audience, and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
And probably finally, what would your advice be for people? Because I know we were talking before we recorded that people message you a lot being like, can you help me start a brand? Like, what's your advice? Maybe you could just say it on here and then direct people all the time and just be like, go and listen to this.
I think you really need to start with spending a lot of time thinking what it is you want to achieve. We didn't actually start that way. We started selling clothes, but Elsie Fred became a brand the minute that we sat down and decided that we wanted to empower the fiercest version of you. That's when it became really tight. So I think my advice would be just get really clear on what it is you want to do and what makes you unique.
And I guess something that you're personally passionate about, like you're all passionate about that sentence, and then you will put your all into it.
I think my advice would be, please don't underestimate how hard this is. Like, honestly, we are living the dream. We're living our dream that we've built, but we've sold our souls for this. Like, there's been broken relationships, there's been tears, there's been tablets, there's been doctors, there's been everything. I'm not going to lie. Like, we have to yoga and meditate and exercise 4 times a week just to be able to get out of bed and think I've got enough energy to get through the day. But they're not on a dampener. This is the best. This is the best life that we ever could have built. But it's cost everything. And it will continue to do so. Ask Richard Branson, I'm sure do you know what I mean? He's always found a good balance. But don't underestimate how hard it's going to be. But it's worth it.
I would say find your passion in what you want to do. Like Natalie said, do something you really want to do, because I always thought I was lazy at school and throughout my education, but I think it's just because you weren't doing something you care about. And when I started doing Elsie Fred, I really loved it. That was when I started working really hard. And I'd also say don't listen to people. There's going to be loads of people that tell you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And they're probably the people closest to you. It's probably going to be friends and family, and just again because they're scared themselves and don't want you to do something they couldn't manage.
Yeah, or they don't want you to be upset or scared or fail. But if you're comfortable with the fact that that could be a possibility, just close your ears to it.
If you want it enough, no one's going to stop you.
Yeah.
What is the worst that can happen? And then, but not just literally think about all the end results.
Go through right to the end.
Ain't nobody died. It's fine.
Yeah, I've read a book recently that said that follow your worst fear right to the end, and it was like, okay, if I lose all my money, I'll have to move home, and if I move home, that's not so bad.
Then I get free food.
That's the end. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think we'll leave it there. But thanks for being so honest and open and fun.
Thank you for having us, Elizabeth.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you were laughing along with the fun that we had whilst recording. Hence the sweat patches interlude halfway through. We got overexcited as usual, and I was going to delete it, and then I thought it was quite funny to leave it in.
So if you enjoyed the episode, I'd be eternally grateful if you could leave a review on Apple Podcast. It will take less than a minute, I promise, and means more people can discover the interviews with inspiring guests in the fashion industry. And I'd love to get to 50 reviews by the end of this year. If you're still listening, screenshot your phone and tag us on your Insta stories at Elizabeth Stiles UK and at Elsie and Fred, and tell us what you thought of this week's Fashion Feed episode.